Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we've got Monday playoff games here as the month of May is here. We are going to be looking at a couple games on this slate here for Monday night, Nate. Got a couple best bets each in this video for you, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. You can also check out the player props video that we have up for you for Monday night as well. We're looking to stay pretty hot with these picks as we had a 4-0 night there. What was it, 4-0? Yeah, 4-0 in these best bets there on Friday night as we got a lot of points going in some of those games, and we had some of those weekends games picked for you guys as well. So we are moving along here. Make sure to like and subscribe, as I said. You can also head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content up there for you guys. And we have the odds finder tool that you can use to make sure you're getting the best odds available to you and all these bets you want to make in the NBA postseason moving forward. Nate, let's jump right into our first best bet here as the Celtics and Sixers series kicks off.
Yeah, it was 4-0 on the weekend, Josh. 2-2 on Friday. We whiffed on the Warriors not coming to play at home, but nailed the Lakers taking care of business. So
thank you.
Moving on to Monday here, Celtics 76ers with Joel Embiid all but ruled out, and I'm taking points. I'm taking over 214, which has been bet up 1 point. People are kind of on board with this, star out, pace up take, which is what I'm taking. I'm not saying the Sixers are going to be more efficient offensively, but they're going to play faster without Joel Embiid. A lot of this is contingent on Tyrese Maxey playing well against the Celtics, which has never happened in his career. Maybe one game in several opportunities.
Yeah.
But, his last 10 in the regular season without Embiid, he averaged 29 a game with a 130 offensive rating. He's got to be that dude. He basically closed out the Nets for them games 3 and 4 with Embiid hobbled and out. I think he will be able to score, but to me, this is more about Boston. I don't see them as holding anybody below 100. I don't think they have to at home where they score 120 plus. And the Sixers defense is not all that. It's just a case of when these two teams have met, it's been a real physical, slowed down game because Embiid is dominating the game on both ends of the floor, right? Protecting the paint, getting to the free throw line, demanding the ball every possession for good reason, scoring 40 to 50 points because he's the one guy Celtics have no answer for. And we often see when that kind of star is out, this is why we say stars out, bets up. Because all of a sudden you have to adjust and you're not really, all of a sudden you're expecting a right hand hook and you're getting left hand jabs from all over the place, basically. Tobias Harris plays pretty well in this situation. Harden, I do think, is going to play well. Josh is taking his under. I disagree. He averages 26 a game against the Celtics with a 130 offensive rating since he moved to the East, despite their good wing defense. But look, the last 3 playoff games without Embiid, it's a similar situation here to missing games 1 and 2 in Miami last year, I suppose. Maxey did step up with 34 in game 2. Tobias and Harden both 20 plus. Tobias 27 in game 1. Those games went under. Well, game 1 went under this total. Game 2 went comfortably over. And that's in Miami with a pace between 90 and 95. Celtics play faster than that. And the Sixers play without Embiid. Their last 9 in the regular season played at a 98 pace, scored 125 a game versus a 92 pace, 109 with him. So, I'm taking the over because I trust the Celtics offense, and what I've seen recently is them getting in a great rhythm against an awful Hawks defense. I still don't have much respect for the Sixers defense in this spot, or just I have more respect for the Celtics rolling out 5 elite playmakers in waves and just being able to continue that pace at home and shoot a high clip, which they have against the Sixers. But 101.5 for the Sixers team total is crazy low. And I was looking at alternate lines there, plus 200 for them to get to 108, which, like I said, is well below what they've been averaging without Embiid. Matchup, sure. But how about you look at the playoffs before those two, before when they played Miami? Previous 4 without Embiid scored 123 a game at a 100 pace. 2 of those were still against Miami, just 4 or 5 years ago. One against Brooklyn, one against Washington, which is obviously a good matchup. But look, they're capable of matching points. I already bet the first quarter total for the Sixers, and I'm betting their team total here, and I'm taking the over for the game because that's what I expect is just them to find ways to compete, even though their big center is probably out.
Yeah, he is. They'll have to back him up with B-ball Paul Reed, who doesn't have props up, but because I guess Embiid is not technically officially ruled out. We were watching some video ourselves of him hobbling around, looking like his back was stiff while he's trying to put up a 15-foot shot. So I don't think we expect him to play, and that's really where I'm looking for this game as well, is just points, pace, the over. I'll actually just go ahead and talk about my second pick here because it's relevant to this game and just get it out of the way. But I do like a few other things in this game on top of the points. I'm going to take the Boston money line, but I'm going to talk about two sort of ways of thinking because you already brought up how I'm fading Harden, at least his points on the night here, and we'll talk about that in the props video. But if you do believe in that game theory that he can he's going to be a force on offense, then maybe you look at some ways to get Philly to kind of surprise cover and even backdoor win this game. And if they were able to surprise the Celtics, they'd have to bring a lot of offense to the table. But I believe in Tobias and Maxey tonight, to be honest. So if you believe in James Harden as well, and you think all three are going to be clicking, then it seems like that Philly's going to give them a pretty good run for their money. And either way, favorite bet for sure is the over. I mean, the pace in the first round series for Boston and Atlanta obviously went very fast, as Atlanta's been playing at a very torrid pace and Boston's capable of playing at that pace, but they also play much closer to that 101.5 than the 90 pace that the Sixers played in their series. So for this game, to add to your over, I'm going to make it a little bit of a same game parlay here on DraftKings that I liked, because I also like Jaylen Brown to get some points tonight. I like his ability to attack the rim without Embiid, and the fact that he comes out pretty hot early in the series as well, firing away. So 25 points for him. Toby Harris there, Tobias Harris 17 plus, and that Boston money line plus the over there. And all four of those get you plus 425 on DraftKings. I'm putting a half a unit on it because, like I said, with no rim protector, I'm really going after Jaylen Brown as well here to get over 25 points. His prop is at about 24 and a half for most places that you'll find it. So I'm already feeling good that that's what he's going to get over anyway. Yeah, you saw Jaylen Brown getting the ball a bit more, especially early in that series too, against the Hawks in the last series. Maybe not quite as good of a matchup for him. He seems to enjoy also playing Philly in 4 of his last 6. He scored over that 25 or more. That includes one of those games where he only played 18 minutes because he got hurt in it as well. So I'm continuing to like him in at least early in this series. We'll see how they come out firing. I often feel like Tatum is the one who defers a little bit more when they're in a situation where maybe they feel like they have a pretty high advantage against the other team without its best player. And we know that there has to be a little bit of keep Jaylen Brown happy when we can, for sure, and not just have Tatum force feed it. But I still like them to win this game. I will say that the 10 points is obviously, it's enough for me to just take the money line in this type of parlay because I also feel really confident about the points that this pace is going to be close to 100, if not higher, rather than, like I said, all the way down in the mid 90s and lower, which the 76ers would be playing, as you mentioned, if Joel Embiid was out there a lot more. So for Tobias, I'll talk about him a lot more in the player props video, and there's only so much that I can use in terms of bets to find when we're talking about 2 game slates, and we have a similar game theory to how we think this one's going to go. So I'm finding other ways to add to that over, and for Boston to be able to win this game, and a couple guys that I like in there. But for Tobias also, like you mentioned how he steps up in the playoffs, especially without Joel Embiid. I have a couple other things I'll talk about in the props video for him. But as far as the last time that, in the last 4 games that he's played without JoJo, he's averaging 26 per game in the playoffs, as someone who just kind of knows that he needs to step up. And he's gotten a bad rap as the guy that, like, you forget he's on the court at times, Tobias Harris, because there are a lot of other shooters on the 76ers team. But I think he understands what the playoffs mean a bit more at this point. I do think he is the quote unquote adult in the room at this point, and I can feel pretty good about him getting the points that they are going to need to keep this game close and get over the 215 there, 214.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking under on Harden, and we're worried that Maxey has never really performed well against the Celtics, that we absolutely need Tobias Harris to come to play to get this over. I think one of those 2 guys is going to have a great game, though. I think I don't want to read too much into Maxey struggling. He's a prolific offensive player, and his confidence continues to grow in his 3rd year here. So I think one of the 2 will score enough that we will get over. Jaylen, I'm not worried about scoring 25 on those guards, though, because with Maxey starting, the Sixers, their defensive backcourt just plummets in terms of efficiency. Jaylen already big boys, those guys. I think, he will get his as he continues to prove that he's worth a contract extension here throughout these playoffs. So I'm going to look at the other game, and I'm taking a similar parlay that I did last time that hit wonderfully, but for nearly plus 400, which was Jamal to get 25, Book and KD to get 25, which has happened, again, every single game in these playoffs. And then instead of Jokic rebounds, which is at much lower odds after he got 19, I'm going KD 9 rebounds. If you put all these together on FanDuel, it's plus 450 or better. And it's interesting that the Suns, like Ayton, just again, just like the mental fortitude, just not there to battle with Jokic on the boards appears. He got out rebounded 19-7. CP3 chipping in with a nice 0 rebound game. Booker 4 rebounds, and KD gets 14 because he is out here competing on both ends of the floor. Even blocked Jokic a couple times, basically trying to play center if Ayton's not going to, step up in this situation. And the Suns are getting roasted down low by Jokic and company. And so I do think KD is going to have another double-digit rebound game here. I, of course, think he's going to score 25 as he continues to look for his shot more than ever. I mean, I whiffed going points and assists. It should have been points and rebounds in that first game, clearly. Yeah. He had 1 assist, 7 turnovers, and was looking for his shot so much that Bruce Brown was able to peel him a few times because he's like, I know exactly what you're doing and try to get to your spot. I'm sure KD will have counters for that. We know his playoff history. We know that Aaron Gordon has not been able to stop him. No. Book had a quiet game 1 last series, and then proceeded to go off for 40 points a game the rest of the series. Not like he struggled. I mean, he was 10 for 19 for those 27 points. I do expect him to have a really nice game here and probably go around 30. And so is the one thing you're worried about Jamal? I guess. I mean, he's cruised way past 25 at home in these playoffs so far. He's averaging 34 at home, which is what he had in game 1. And it's very encouraging to see that Monty Williams did not want to use Book defensively on him, right? He was like, I got to save Book for offense. I need KD and Book to get 30 if we're going to have any chance to win in Denver. So I can't be exhausting him guarding Jamal Murray, who just continues to hit these silly, difficult shots. And there's just really no answer for him if he's feeling healthy the way he is. So, yeah, I think Jamal's going to get 25 again. And those guys, like I said, every single playoff game have gotten 25 so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal might be taking tough shots, but like few people have the ability to square their body to the basket while they're fading away from it, like Jamal Murray. Like somehow his shoulders are always pointed towards the basket when he's shooting. Wildly impressive. I do worry that he has one game every couple at home in the playoffs where all of a sudden he doesn't score 25 or he scores 21 or 22. There's like a few in there in the game log since, you go all the way back to the bubble, but like, I'm not quite as worried about 25. If you said he had to get 30 again, I'd say, well, let's be a little bit pragmatic here. But the 25 for him is there, and Joker might have been looking for his teammates early, but he definitely continued to get the scoring and would have gotten 25 points if they didn't end up blowing out the Suns in that third quarter and early fourth quarter and just running away with it at that point. The rebounds for KD, I'm going to continue to feel good about that. Like who else is getting rebounds for them right now? Torrey Craig is getting some minutes in there and doing a decent job, but like the way that Denver rebounds, the way they've been dominating the boards, I mean, 56% of the rebounds they're getting in this playoffs, like just dominating the boards against everybody. And obviously Joker's 19 would be a huge part of that. KD, if you're going to continue to put Aaron Gordon on him, man, just RIP, dude. Like he just abused him in game 1, and you continue to call out how Aaron Gordon is not the defender for Kevin Durant. In fact, Bruce Brown at a much smaller height is probably better to get under there. You're not going to block his shot anyway, so you might as well have somebody who's able to stay in front of him and bother him while he's dribbling, trying to keep him from getting to his spots. But either way, no one's stopping KD from doing that. So if the only thing I'd be worried about more than anything is the rebounds. 9 is a lot of rebounds, but if he's going to be sort of what he was for the Dubs in their run, where he was their second big man and really their best rim protector, then you continue to feel good about him being down there to get the boards and playing 42 to 44 minutes in this game or whatever. So I'm going to also talk about this game though with the last pick in our best bets video here, Nate, and go Denver over on their team total at 115.5. I do continue to like points in this game. We got a little bit scared that the over wasn't going to hit in the first one just because the Suns were failing to come along for a while. Turns out they only needed 107 points, and Denver did the rest for us to get us over the 227 last time, which I still feel pretty good about. But I'm just going to focus once again on the Denver team total. I think I've hit like 4 team totals in a row, feeling really good about that between Miami and New York and Denver here. 115.5 for them against a Phoenix team that on the road so far in the playoffs, I mean, 117 defensive rating, 117 points per game, allowing 14 threes on the road right now versus 11 when they're playing at home. Definitely Phoenix, a much better defensive team at home. They're allowing 48% from the field, 39% from deep. And that includes 3 games against the Clippers there that, their offense was heavily hampered, obviously, once Kawhi went down. And like I said, playing better in terms of allowing worse percentages at home to their opponent. But on the road, weirdly enough, by the way, this isn't really super relevant, but like they're allowing 32 free throw attempts at home are the Suns. And then on the road, they're only allowing 16. I don't really know how that happens, other than I guess Russell Westbrook was just going bananas at the rim when they happened to be in Phoenix in that first round. But it's more about the fact that like even all these numbers I'm talking about, and even Denver playing really well at home, we know 122 offensive rating at home right now in the playoffs, making 14 threes basically on 41% a clip. They're getting to the line 23 times versus the 15 on the road. I already mentioned they have a 57% rebounding rate in the playoffs in general due to the Nuggets. So I continue to like them to dominate the boards and get points that way, where they got 14 second chance points on 16 offensive rebounds in that other game. Basically, like they have Mitchell Robinson on the team with how good they are at offensive rebounding. But it's mostly about what Phoenix doesn't have on defense right now, and the fact that their bench. They had a decent showing from their bench because Josh Okogie played 18 minutes and started, and that, so now Torrey Craig and everyone else is coming in playing 18 to 25 minutes each, and that's considered bench minutes. So like I'm not really worried that their bench is better. We know it's not. That Denver's offense and sort of like variety of quality offensive players coming off the bench and on the starting lineup for Denver is just going to be too much for this very thin Phoenix Suns defense to handle. And you mentioned it, and I'll say it again: Book and KD are not guarding your best players. They're guarding the guys that are standing in the corner right now because they know, one, KD needs to be standing on the baseline so that he can get rebounds and block shots. But also, like, Book is just not, like you said, going to be guarding anybody good on the other team, especially not Jamal Murray, as someone to try to shut him down. He just needs to play 44 minutes where he's expending all his energy on offense. So I'll continue to feel really good about Denver scoring points at home, especially 116. Sounds pretty good for me tonight.
Yeah, Phoenix is going to have to try to outscore them, I guess. I mean, I once again like Nuggets money line plus the over, I think, and just Nuggets in the series, which you talked about before it started, because of the depth, because exactly the bench points you're talking about. I mean, yeah, Phoenix was lucky to have to play them a little bit even, but you can see the gap in talent. Like when you have Bruce Brown and other guys coming off the bench for Denver who could be starting for other teams, including Phoenix. It's just they can come at you in waves, and role players already play better at home. They have more role players who are capable of stepping up. They have that incredible offensive rating at home, and they have an incredible record when they score at least 110. So if they're going to get 116, I think it's another Nuggets win, and we're going back to Phoenix with the Suns down 2-0.
Yeah, it's now 34-2 at home when they score 110 points with Nikola Jokic in the lineup. So, if you think they're going to get 116 like I do, seems to reason that they would win this one as well. So that's all the time we have for you in the Best Bets video. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also, check out our player props that we have up for you guys, looking to stay wicked hot on those. And until we see you next, happy betting.